So given that we are about days away from the Raw debut on Netflix, and obviously I live in the UK, at the moment my Netflix is covered in WWE stuff and I'm a nerd, so it gets me excited. It's basically a pay-per-view. WWE described it as mini WrestleMania, so as we do predict things on Simon Miller's YouTube wrestling channel, I thought we may as well do it for this show. And let's face it, there are 4 huge mega matches on this card that you could actually put on a WrestleMania and nobody would be surprised. And I think you are going to get a bunch of surprises too. I've just screwed over the English language there by using the same word twice. But for example, John Cena is going to be on this show. I think he's already declared for the Royal Rumble. If not, they'll do a big song and dance about it here. But do I also think that someone's going to interrupt him? Yes, I do. And I have no idea who that's going to be. I mean, if I was going to hazard a guess, I would imagine The Rock would be on this show too. And you could do that. The only reason I would personally stay away from it is that you don't want people to think you're actually going to do The Rock versus John Cena, because I don't think that's a direction that we should go in. We know that Dwayne Johnson is only going to have limited dates for 2025 if we're lucky. We may not get any at all because, of course, he has a crazy acting schedule. And if there is any freedom, you want to do Cody Rhodes, you want to do Roman Reigns, and you want to try and get those tied up because we may never get him again. Again, nobody knows what his future is going to hold. But somebody will absolutely come out and talk crap to John Cena. You may even get like a Ludwig Kaiser doing it, just to do like a one-off segment so everyone go, oh my gosh, John Cena, I love you. But he'll probably, again, declare for the Royal Rumble. I would imagine he'll mention that 17th World Championship and say, hey man, it's my retirement year, but I want to win that championship before I do go away again. We've talked about this in other videos. That is something I would pull the trigger on. But it also wouldn't surprise me, given how big a stars they are and given how big a stars WWE sees them, that you could get the return of Charlotte Flair, who I think is going to come back as like super evil dark Charlotte Flair. It's going to be like Emperor Palpatine. And I can see Becky Lynch being on this show too. Now, there is a rumor out there that apparently she is heavily tied into whatever plans are being built for WrestleMania 41. Maybe you could even do Becky Lynch versus Charlotte, although I don't think you'll do that. I think one will go to SmackDown and one will stay on Raw. But you also have the fact that Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan, as we can go straight into that one, are having their last women's standing match for the Women's Championship. And you could have a Charlotte or a Becky come out right after that, stare down Rhea Ripley, and then instantly you have told any new fans that are watching this on Netflix, maybe you want to stay for next week if you do indeed like these 2 superstars. And why stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne? We have so much to achieve in 2025. If you want to pull a random one, Charlotte versus Rhea at the Royal Rumble, I've got no problem with that. Or maybe Charlotte Flair could declare for the Royal Rumble. I just think we should get as much good stuff done at the start of the year, because again, it's all fresh and it's exciting with Netflix, and obviously, as I'm recording this on Friday, the shows are 3 hours. If the shows are going to be 3 hours, both Raw and SmackDown, please give me content. I'm very blessed to do what I do, but it's also going to kill me. Kind of gave it away there as well. Yes, I do think Rhea Ripley should win this, because I think also that kind of sells everything that WWE can be. If you are expecting to get a big rating, whatever the right word would be for a streaming show for this Raw, you want to show a championship change, because people will see the fans reacting big. It'll make Rhea Ripley like a huge star. Liv Morgan had a great 2024, so she'll be able to do her job. And maybe it's that electricity and that feverish reaction that gets people to hang around. You know, there's nothing better than a pop in pro wrestling. It's why we all get excited about watching old ones. We know what's coming. And the moment that Edge returning at the 2020 Royal Rumble is doing the rounds, and honestly, when he stood behind the curtain, you feel like you're there, because once again, we're all massive geeks. And I think I'll have a hard-hitting match. I think it'll be really fun. But we are at the start of the year. I would give Rhea Ripley that title. You don't need to carry on the Liv Morgan feud. I kind of feel like we've hit the end of the road, whatever you want to say, and once more you get a championship change on this mini WrestleMania. So I am going to go Rhea Ripley. I think it'd be a really, really good match, and I'm just going to say it, because why make boring predictions? That's no fun. I think Charlotte Flair will turn up afterwards, and we're going to go right into that feud, which is probably a dumb thing to say, because Rhea Ripley can't lose the belt that soon. But you'd have to imagine that Charlotte would win a title too. So basically, I'm an idiot. We're also getting Jey Uso versus Drew McIntyre. This is another one. I don't see how Drew McIntyre can lose this, which is crazy, because in many ways, 2025 should be the year of Jey Uso. He put on his Instagram the other day when he was like, man, I'm going to win a WWE title in the next 12 months. And I was like, you bet your ass you are, Jey Uso, because that man is absolutely wonderful. But I think we have so much time, and Drew should really be the project heading into WrestleMania. I mean, who the flub is he going to face? It kind of feels like we need to at least start hinting at the direction we're going in. And it could be Sami Zayn, but if you did Sami Zayn, Sami should win. And we're already pulling the trigger, like I said, on the Jey Uso match. But I just think we need to build Drew. I think Drew probably could go to SmackDown. There's a debate right now that anyone that gets moved to SmackDown is going to look like a goober, because clearly Raw is the A show again. But I disagree. I think WWE has so much talent, and they're going to want to make sure they don't mug off the USA Network, which is probably another reason SmackDown has gone to 3 hours, that you need to make sure these shows are super duper balanced. Like, again, there's another murmuring going around that one of the reasons we have have extended the shows is to give people that don't get enough TV time some TV time. I think I saw Blair Davenport's name being thrown around. Good. Ever since she got called up from NXT, I don't think we've done right by her. But Drew McIntyre could lead that charge on SmackDown. As long as you do make a big deal about it, I wouldn't even mind if we did Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. I don't think we are going to do that. But Drew McIntyre should win a big old championship this year. He should finally hold it, unlike what happened in 2024 when he got dicked over. Shouldn't have said it in 2 minutes. But I think it starts here. I think you want him to get a big win over Jey Uso. He can cheat. I think that's perfectly fine. Again, he's Drew. He's out of control. You could include the bloodline, even though they got something later on. But I don't think that's an issue. It's still Raw, right? It's not a pay-per-view, so you can have all the shenanigans and no one's going to be that surprised. And you'd have to figure that Sami Zayn gets involved in here as well. Although I'm still convinced it's going to be Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. I think that we have planted those seeds. And coming out of the Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens will be done with Cody Rhodes. But anyway, getting back to on task, Drew McIntyre should win. Doesn't have to be super dominant, although even if it was, I wouldn't mind that. I think sometimes we get too caught up on, oh my gosh, this person didn't have an out or he wasn't protected. Sometimes you don't get protected. And Drew McIntyre needs to be the plan right now. Drew McIntyre needs to be the task. He did so well in 2024. If you haven't watched the inaugural Simon Miller Wrestling Awards, why wouldn't you have watched that, of 2024? It's fan voted. So this has nothing to do with this bald idiot. Drew McIntyre was voted the Wrestler of the Year. I got over 2,000 votes. I know that's not massive compared to some people, but I think it's a sizable chunk of individuals who clearly really appreciated what Drew did in 2024, and I think that's awesome. Let's carry that on. Obviously, he did lose the feud overall with Punk, which is cool, fine, totally get it. It's helped Punk. It hasn't really harmed Drew at all either, which is a good thing, but now let's ride it all the way to the moon. Point is, Drew wins here, and we probably get a little bit of direction. You also getting the Tribal Combat match. Now, if you talk to a lot of people as I stumble over my own words, the majority would actually say that Tribal Combat matches have been, I wouldn't say underrated, but obviously the SummerSlam one with Jey Uso, some people didn't really think it lived up to expectations, and then you've had all the craziness with the first tag team match at WrestleMania. That was under Tribal Combat rules, and there was another one as well. I think it's fine. It's just a way to taste a hardcore match, and this makes all the sense in the world too, because again, we're going to get surprises, we're going to get the last man standing match, the last woman standing match, and then you can have Sikoa and Roman Reigns just smash each other with weapons, and you'll get all the run-ins and the craziness. But listen, when WWE has got that right with the bloodline, it has been super duper fun, and if you make sure it doesn't sort of permeate the rest of the card, then yeah, once again it's just shining a spotlight. Oh, this is what WWE does. Then if you do become a new fan in a year, you'll be like, man, they do this stuff all the time. They overdo it. I can't believe I got tricked like that. There is a side of me that wants Sikoa to win. I think Solo is a much better tribal chief than Roman Reigns. He hangs out with his tribe and he helps his tribe. Roman hasn't been seen for weeks as poor Jey Uso and Sami Zayn is being murdered. But there is no way, given how much time and effort that we put into this, and given that Roman Reigns is a super duper whooper megastar, that I think he will lose here. I think he's going to win. I think it's going to set him up for a major program at WrestleMania, maybe with a CM Punk. Again, could he go on to win the World Championship? I suppose so. But it feels big, right? And I think that's the main thing. And the fact that we're getting it so early, and it's not a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania or something like that, goes to show how important WWE deems this card. But Roman Reigns, in many ways, you could argue, is still at the top of the tree. He's still the number one guy, once again, face of the company. And if that is the case, he's going to want to put a strong foot forward. His entrance will last 8 minutes, so you get the whole gravitas and aura of that. This is pure cinema. And yes, Tamatonga will get involved, Jacob Fatu will get involved, Sami Zayn will probably be here, Jimmy Uso. What we do with Jey, I do not know. Maybe you're going to do this match after Jey versus Drew, so maybe this could feed in here as well, because don't forget, Drew McIntyre does hate the bloodline. Maybe he could even do something to Roman Reigns, and all of a sudden, you know, Sikoa does get the win. Could we do Roman versus Drew? Why the flub not, man? I think I'd love that, especially because now the roles have kind of reversed, because the last time they fought, Drew McIntyre was a super babyface. It's totally crazy, right? I think that would be exciting, but no, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. And then I do think we need to start figuring out where he does go next, because again, that ties into the main event. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins could be the most Jeopardy match we have had in so long, because you can make arguments either way. Let's say it is going to be CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship WrestleMania. You can have CM Punk lose here because you know he's got a huge successful horizon on the horizon. That's the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life. But WWE does this all the time. Take a Tiffany Stratton. She got the Money in the Bank briefcase, and it's, you know, lose, because, you know, when she cashes in, becomes the champion, everybody will forget all that. It's a little bit stereotypical, but it does work. I actually think you could get a cash in on this show as well, but then on SmackDown later, you have the whole Naomi versus Nia Jax. So it could have already happened by the time you've seen this video. But because of that, Seth Rollins could ultimately win in one of the many homages to the past, right? There are surprise roll-ups people have done. There are sort of funky finishes with weapons that people have done. I don't think this is going to be clean. It's not going to be the curb stomp 1, 2, 3 or the go to sleep 1, 2, 3. There'll be something. There'll be an asterisk. There'll be a talking point we do need to discuss afterwards. But I think it should be that. There should be 3 matches between these two. You know, CM Punk win the first one, Seth Rollins win the second one, and they get to the third one, probably with a title on the line. But because I am convinced now that within the next 4 months, WrestleMania is still a long-ass time away, CM Punk is either going to win the belt of that show or walk into that show with the championship, I think Seth Rollins may win here. Again, it's going to be completely over the top and nonsensical in a good way. I'm saying that in a positive way. And it's going to break the internet. Well, it's going to break the internet no matter who gets the win or the loss. But I'm so invested. I think the promo that both guys did on Raw was perfect in many ways because those segments are designed to make you go, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the match. I'm genuinely excited. Again, I'm recording this on the 3rd of January. So we've got a few days to go. I'm counting those days down. I've got it on my calendar. And when you do get the entrances and they're staring at each other in the ring, you know, the Inuit Dome, I think it's called, which holds a lot of people. I think it's like 18,000 people in it or something. They're going to be going crazy. And it wouldn't surprise me, just to double down on what I have said, if it feels like a WrestleMania main event. But also, if CM Punk wins, I think that's going to be fine. Seth Rollins winning, that's going to be fine. We really have created this amazing situation where neither is really a babyface, neither is really a heel. They've both put forward the way that they see things. And now you pick a horse, man, and you pick a lane. As long as WWE does have good stories to tell coming out of this, going into WrestleMania, you can't lose even though someone is going to lose. And that is when you have done wrestling perfectly. And if you can continue going down that lane, you can actually get it where you do get a winner and a loser, but both benefit. It's this amazing thing that you can do in wrestling sometimes. Obviously, probably WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart, Steve Austin is the one people go back to. Bret Hart came out as a mega heel. Steve Austin comes out as a mega face. No one even cares who won the last match. It was just like, oh my gosh, these two guys are absolutely fantastic. And that's what I think we can do here too. And also, if the finish is a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, just something that Bret has done in the past, would make all the sense in the world because they are Bret Hart guys. But no, I'm going to go to Seth Rollins only because I think CM Punk is winning the championship. And I think that's like a nice 50-50 balance, which WWE does often do, but it's also totally redundant. Fair play to both of them. I hope they are in the main event. Sometimes people say it should be Roman Reigns versus Solo, which is justifying of that position, but it doesn't touch CM Punk and Seth Rollins. They have the war of words, they have the personalities, or the personal feud, I should say. They just hate each other, and once I've seen them fight, I'm going to need a break. I'm going to have to go away for a while, and I'm sure this show will go 3 hours, and it's a great way to keep people hooked as well, by saying, hey man, keep watching, because Punk and Rollins is around the corner, but I will go with Seth Rollins, because I think that would be a surprise too, and CM Punk did win his feud, and I'm not going to repeat what I just said, but I think this whole show is going to be brilliant. I think WWE is going to hit a home run on Netflix, which is exactly what they have to do. I don't care how many people are watching, not bothered about that. That's all I see on the internet now. What about the ratings? Even if I just watch and I'm entertained, then it's a great day for me. That's exactly what I want to do with my time. Now, more important than all of this, I need to know what your predictions are, so throw them in the comments down there, and we will see if anybody does hit an absolutely perfect score. Please do interact with the video as well. Click the video on the screen, subscribe, notification bell, like, comment, and do all the things in the description box down there as well, which does include grillermind.com/Simon. Just go to Simon to get 10% off. These are good fitness supplements, and one that I use in my own life and my wrestling life too when out and then the ring. Simon316 on all social media, patreon.com/Simon316, Simon J. Miller on TikTok, Simon Miller on Cameo if you want personalized messages, ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller to support me by buying a t-shirt. But again, you can just pop down there and click things to your heart content. Enjoy SmackDown later, which I also think will be a good show. Have a restful weekend, and then we will be back to talk about the first ever Raw on Netflix. I mean, we are living in the crazy times, but the crazy times feel good.